Welcome to Storyland. Please subscribe. Hello guys, my name is Uncle Sam and my story goes like this. I was sitting in a small restaurant around my area, waiting for my friend Peter. As I sat there alone, I decided to buy a plate of rice since I was already feeling hungry. As I was eating, a beautiful young girl walked in and sat opposite me, looking like an angel sent from heaven. I couldn't help but stare at her and admire her beauty. She bought a bottle of Coke and just sat there looking gorgeous. As I continued to look at her, our eyes clicked and she smiled. The smile was amazing. It was so good I forgot where to put my spoon of rice. Whether it goes to my ear, my eyes or the mouth, I couldn't remember. I became shy at once. I asked myself, how do I talk to this girl? I tried to focus on my food and mind my business, but by that time, picking a spoon of rice to put in my mouth looked foolish because I remember that I chew food like a goat. I remember my last girlfriend always says, "Baby, can you eat like a human being and stop chewing like a goat?" I remembered that, so I didn't want to embarrass myself. I decided to stop eating and buy a bottle of cold drink. As I drank the drink, to swallow it was a problem. I tried to swallow very slowly, but my throat made a loud noise and it felt embarrassing. But she looked at me in my confusion and smiled. So I decided to wave to her and say hi from where I was sitting, and she waved back. The whole thing looked like a dream, but each time she looked at me and smiled, I didn't feel like waking up. You know, one of those dreams you would like to have for the rest of your life. After a while, her friend came and they started talking, so she became distracted. I decided to use that opportunity to rush my food and finished it. As I wanted to pay, I realized that my wallet was missing. That is the worst thing that could happen to anybody in front of a princess like that. The waiter was standing in front of me, looking like he wants to give me a slap. I tried to calm the waiter down, but I think he noticed me and the beautiful girl's chemistry, and he, being one of those God-forsaken human beings, tried his best to embarrass me in front of everybody. He shouted, "Mr. Man, you don't have money and you came here to eat. You are a very useless man." I was telling him calm down, trying to take my phone and call my friend Peter, who I was waiting for in that restaurant, but the waiter was not having it. I think he also has a crush on the girl, so he did his best to make everyone sitting there to know I couldn't pay for my food and drink. I started sweating. You know, those kind of sweat that comes with that feeling that you need to use the toilet urgently, and there is no toilet nearby. Yes, that was the kind of sweat that was coming out of my body. That was how the girl left the meeting she was having and came over to us and said, "Don't worry waiter, I will pay his bills." She gave the waiter her card and the waiter was not happy, but he swiped it and got his money. As she turned to leave, I said thank you so much. She smiled and walked back to her table. Immediately the drama ended. I knew there was no way for me to get to know her. I felt like a small child that is waiting for his mommy to buy him sweet. I just told myself, if the ground in front of me would open, believe me, I would jump in and just disappear from that place. Everybody there were just looking at me and shaking their heads. I even had one girl sitting with her friends say, "What a poor boy." It was one of the worst days of my life. As the waiter left, Peter, my friend, walked in and said, "Sorry bro, I was delayed," and he said, "I don't even have money on me." I said to him, "You are a waste for a friend, so both of us would have been embarrassed here today." I showed him the girl and told him what happened. He laughed as loud as he can. Then he said, "That waiter has killed your vibes." Then the young girl stood up with her client to leave. As she walked to her car, we followed her out to her car to say thank you. She just smiled and said, "It was nothing." Then she gave me her card and asked me to call her. She got into this very big, expensive looking SUV and drove away. Her smile melted my heart, and guess what? She paid for my food. It was like the best dream any man can have. Peter said, "Bro, This girl likes you, and she must be a politician's daughter or her father must be very rich. 2 days passed and I couldn't get the whole thing out of my head. Her face, her smile, the way she said, "You can call me," was more than magical. I told myself, if this girl ever agreed to date me, I will propose to her immediately. I had to wait for 2 days, to make sure she didn't see me come off as a man who is desperate, but those 2 days was like 2 years of waiting. Finally I called her and she said, "I thought you would never call." I laughed, like a boy that is in love for the first time. We got along so well and I learned that she is into real estate, and she sells houses for a living. After 2 months of us trying to get to know each other, it was obvious that she liked me as much as I liked her, so we started dating. For the first time in my life, I didn't only see but met a girl, young girl of 22 years, doing very well in business, has her own money, very respectful and committed, and she doesn't complain and she supports me every now and then. Whenever I need help with anything, she comes through for me. If I never dated her, I would not believe that it is possible to find a very beautiful, respectful, humble and rich young girl and she still don't act like men are trash. Our relationship was going very well. I made my plans to propose to her. Even though I am just an Uber driver and don't have much, I felt we would be fine together. We always make each other laugh. She likes me for my stupidity. The way I chew food and drink makes her laugh. She is always smiling and happy to be around me, and I was over the moon. It's been 6 months since we started dating, and I was saving to buy her an engagement ring, until one day, Peter came to my place to tell me he saw my girlfriend with another man. I laughed at him and he said he can prove it. I didn't believe him, so I called her, but she said she is not in town. She traveled to go sell a house in a different state. Peter said she is lying, that he would take me to where he saw her. At first I didn't want to believe him, but for me to prove him wrong, I reluctantly followed him one day, and saw my own Shelley, my beautiful Shelley, coming out of a hotel with another man. I couldn't wait to see the man's face. My feet could not move. It was like my heart was set on fire. I stood there and froze. As I went home that day, I called her again and she didn't pick my calls. I cried for many days. I tried to reach her, but she would cut my calls and send me a message that she is busy, even at night, that she is away and will call me later. I cried till I fell into depression. Peter blamed himself for telling me. He said, "I shouldn't have told you this, because I didn't know you would take it this bad." I was indoors for 2 weeks and I couldn't eat or sleep at night. I was just crying like a man who has lost all hope to live. Sometimes I will sit in the dark and ask myself, what does this girl want? I thought we were happy together. I made sure she is happy all the time. What is the meaning of this? A week later, Peter came to my house and said, "My man, you need to brace yourself and move on. I know a therapist you can go and see. Don't worry about the bills, I will pay for it. You need to get your heart off that girl." He managed to convince me, so we went. On getting there, as I walked into the man's office, I was shocked to see my girlfriend's picture hanging on the man's wall. Another picture had both of them in it. I lost my cool and shouted, "So you are the one sleeping with my girlfriend?" Before the man could say anything, I gave him a nice beating, shouting, "What are you doing with my girlfriend? I came to see you so you can solve my problems, but I see you are the cause of my problems. You are the one sleeping with my girlfriend." Peter ran in and some other people and separated us. Then the man called the police. That was how I got arrested. Please guys, tell me, did I do wrong to fight for love? Let me know in the comment section. Let's continue the story. That is how I found myself in the police station. I was arrested for assault. Guess what? Peter, my friend, left me and ran away. It turned out that my beautiful Shelley is a married woman, who has a baby girl, and the therapist man is her husband. They have been married for over 4 years. There was no way I could have guessed that the young beautiful Shelley is married. In my wildest dream, I would never have guessed, so she was cheating on her husband with me, and me, who thought I had found a wife, is the one that went to punch her real husband. It is so painful because I was fighting for love that does not belong to me. So because of my actions, her real husband now knows that his wife Shelley is cheating on him. Imagine that. I called my friend Peter to come and bail me, but he said he doesn't have money, that I should call my girlfriend Shelley. After some days of sleeping in the police station, Shelley's husband dropped the charges. He said, since I was misled, he will let it go. What a gentleman. 1 week after I was released, I was in my house, still trying to understand the whole thing. I heard a knock at the door. As I opened, it was Shelley. She came in and apologized to me about the whole thing, then she told me the whole story. The truth is, Shelley was betrothed to Mr. James as a child, a man old enough to be her father. When she turned 18, her parents married her off to him, so she has been married for 4 years and have a baby girl for him. But she does not love him, so our connection was love at first sight for her and me. It's unfortunate that she belongs to another man. I told her, this is the 21st century, you can divorce him, we can run away and be happy together. She smiled with tears in her eyes and said, baby, if we do that, my younger brothers will not be able to finish school, and all Mr. James has given my family will be taken away. We will go back to abject poverty. So I was made the sacrificial lamb to bring my family out of poverty, which means I might never be happy for the rest of my life. I wanted to say something, but words couldn't come out of my mouth. That is one time I wished I was very rich. Even if I don't marry Shelley, I would have paid to get her out of such life. Nobody deserves to live miserable because of lack of money. She wiped her tears and smiled. Then she said, it was nice knowing you. I didn't really think I could ever be happy in life, till we met. Thank you for the joy you brought into my life. I will cherish it forever, and again, I am sorry for everything you went through. She opened the door and left. That was the last time I ever set my eyes on her. Story ends. Moral of the story. All that glitters are not gold. No matter how rich you are, money can't buy happiness, it can only bring comfort. Being comfortable and miserable is a waste of life. Whether you are poor or rich, being happy and always smiling is what more than money can ever buy. I remain Uncle Sam. Stay safe.